Hello everyone. So I wanted to discuss about lot of issues that mothers may face, and one of the most important issue that I come across is that mothers, they worry that children have become picky eaters. Okay. So what is picky eaters? Picky eaters means their children would want to eat what they want to eat and not what is offered to them. Okay. And they would refuse to eat if they are not given their food of choice. This is a real issue because like of course in US we call it terrible 2. So it starts around age of 2 I feel that this is completely avoidable. You can prevent it completely, and the way I recommend is that from beginning, from 6 months onward, mother has to remember that she is the boss. She will basically decide what child wants to eat. Okay. And if that kind of discipline continues, then you will not see a lot of this picky eating. So for example, once baby realizes that he or she has more control, and you will see around say 18 months of age, and some children, if they are very smart, even a little bit earlier, a lot of time they will reject certain food, and then sometime they would basically prefer certain food, and mothers, they obviously, I mean, I do not blame them, but mothers have this tendency that, oh, baby does not like this, so okay, I am not going to give this food, but baby likes this food, I am going to make that more often. Okay. So what she is doing is basically she is trying to kind of do what baby likes. Okay. Somehow then eventually what happens is then baby prefers, of course, more sweet taste, taste which are much more palatable. So baby would prefer those tastes, and mother eventually end up giving only those kind of food. So in such situation, what I recommend, that baby should basically be given all the food which are cooked at home. Okay. And of course, let baby taste it, and not to force it. So if baby say takes one bite and then baby did not like it, then leave it. You do not need to force the baby to take it, but it does not mean that baby did not like it. So now you give say fruit, or you give something which is sweet, so just so that baby did not like it. I feel that it has to be done very smartly, very very slowly, but to continue to give that food which baby did not like, for at least next 10 to 15 attempts in next 1 month, 2 months, because what happens, sometimes the new taste, it takes baby for a long time to like that taste, like for example, I will just give you my personal example where my daughter, she did not like kind of bangan, eggplant. And of course, it was, we had made this kind of routine in our house that even if she did not like one particular food, anytime if I made it, she had to try at least 1 teaspoon. Of course, this is possible when they become a little bit older, but as I am saying that all this habit starts from childhood. Okay. So make sure that you give this try this food very often, and then make a rule, for older than 2.5, you can start making rules that, okay, if you do not like it, it is okay, but she has to try, or he has to try at least 1 teaspoon anytime if that food is cooked in the house. Okay. So that way, many times what happens is, after maybe few attempts, and if you make it in a different way, maybe they just start liking it, and they start accepting that new food. So do not get disappointed if child do not like a new food. Point is to you keep exposing that baby to that new food frequently. So eventually they kind of, the food grows on their taste bud, and then they start liking it. Okay. So that is one thing. Second thing is that many times what happens, when this is, I am talking about a little bit older children, even around say 2 years of age or so, they start demanding. the food that they like. Okay. So, for example, many children say no, I do not want to have this vegetable, I want to have this aloo sabji, or I want to have this pasta, or I want to have this because I like this. And of course, when family would want to make a child happy, so what they would do is they would not give food which is cooked at home, and they would make something special for the child which a child prefers. Okay. Now, I do not like that. I mean, once in a while, if as a family you have prepared something special, and if child is enjoying, that is fine. But on a routine basis, I do not recommend that you cook something special for the child differently, separately. Whatever you cook for the family, you have to teach baby or child to eat that same kind of food. You do not want to have special khana for a child, or special food for mother-in-law and special food for father-in-law, and all that is I think it is very much spoiling, and if child grows up in that kind of environment, he or she will learn the same thing. Okay. So, have like a family pot and teach that child that this is what it is. If he wants to eat, otherwise he can sleep hungry, he will be fine. Do not spoil the habit. And once they understand that their demand is not kind of taken care of, they will learn to eat. Okay. So, do not give in to the demand. As I said, special occasions are different, so if you have made special dishes for any occasion, of course give it to the child, but it should be as per your recommendation, as you wish, not child's wish. Okay. This is one way of preventing your picky eating. And another thing is, many mothers have this habit of giving milk to the child. I am talking about again children who have come off breast milk after 2 to 2.5 years of age, and they have a habit of drinking big glass of milk early in the morning. Okay. Now, I do not recommend having milk first thing in the morning, because of course they are rushing to school, right, and we want them to have proper breakfast in the morning. So, what I recommend is to give them proper breakfast, whatever breakfast that you have prepared, healthy breakfast, avoid too much of poha and upma, it is all basically avoid too much of starch, give them lot more protein and good fats. So, you can give that breakfast in the morning and then give them milk. Okay. But do not fill the stomach with milk first, because that child will not have breakfast, and that will cause that milk will dip that blood glucose level, and then again they will be hungry within an hour or two. Okay. So, do not fill their stomach just with milk. Okay. Third point that I want to kind of discuss is many children, they have a habit of children who have come off breast milk early on, and they have a habit of drinking too much milk, and even older children, some of them have a habit of drinking 1 liter of milk a day, or maybe sometime 1.5 liters of milk in all different forms. So, not necessarily dairy milk, but sometimes they have lot more paneer, they have lot more dahi, they have cheese. So, you have to calculate all the dairy. Okay. So, I recommend that children should not have a dairy product more than 500 ml per day. Okay. So, obviously under 2 years of age it is mother's milk, but other dairy products are your dahi, your cheese, your of course your curd, your cheese, your paneer. So, just combine all that, and it should not be more than 500 ml. Okay. Because what we have seen is babies who get lot more dairy products, say beyond 500 ml, they have a risk of developing iron deficiency anemia, and we do not want iron deficiency anemia in young children, because then they will have a problem of kind of cognition issue, and it will be irreversible damage to cognition. Cognition means the intelligence. Okay. So, just remember to not to give too much of dairy products, just because you have to control. Okay. And some children, they just love dairy products, and they have this habit of just taking that bottle all day long, and they keep sipping on it. Another point which is important is the juice. Now, please avoid fruit juices in young children, you know, these are all basically sugar, water, nothing else, you know. So, it is all water and fructose, there is no fiber, there is nothing, everything is kind of drained out. So, avoid giving anything in a liquid form. Best thing is to really, you know, you can just give soft fruit, you know, cut it and they can chew it, and if child is small, you know, you can just make like a, just mash it with hand and children can have it. Okay. So, do not give juice or fruit juice or any of those liquid food. Okay. Another point is tea and coffee. Now, many times we see that a lot of these children are given tea and coffee, you know, early on, especially in urban slum that you know, we work in, and they start tea by 4 months of age, you know. Even older children, they have a habit of drinking tea. Please avoid giving tea to children, and even adults too, because I mean, obviously not with the food which is high on iron, you know, because it will prevent the absorption of iron. Okay. So, that one point is important about not to give tea or coffee, or I mean, another thing also which I see is a lot of these mothers have the habit of giving you know, junk food. So, they start with you know, biscuits, and they start with a lot of this junk food very early on. So, again, please talk to mothers and tell them about you know, why we do not want to give junk food to babies. You know, they are completely they lack nutrient density, there is empty calories, and it will cause more problem than you know, any other kind of help, you know. So, thank you so much, and if you have any suggestion, recommendation, please write to us. Thank you.